Greetings. Myself Dr.R.Orusol Vasagan, Assistant Professor, Department of Visual Communication, Bishop Weber College, Trichy. Today I going to take the classes of models of communications. So first we going to discuss about the definition of communication. So communication means sharing the information to the one person to another persons and exchange the ideas, thoughts, feelings to one person to another person. Next, we are going to discuss about the types of communication. So there are 4 types of communication we are going to discuss. So one is the interpersonal communication, the next one is intrapersonal communication, third one is group communication, so fourth one is mass communication. Let us discuss one by one. So interpersonal communication means communication between 2 or more peoples. Then intrapersonal communication means communication on oneself. Then group communication, sending and receiving the message to the multiple group of persons. Then fourth one is mass communication. So communication to a large peoples. The next we are going to why we are study the communication models. So in other words, model of communications provide us with a visual representations of different aspects of communication situations. Next, since a communication is a complex process, it is often the challenging or determine where a conversation begins and ends. The major communication models. So linear model of communications, they only took a one-way communication process. The most prominent linear model of communication are Aristotle model of communication, then Laswell model of communication, then Shannon and Weaver of model of communication, then David Berlow SMCR model of communication. Then next, the interactive model of communication. The analysis to two-way communication process. They are the following: the Osgood-Sharam communication models, the Wesley and the Macklin communication models. The next, transsexual model of communication. The transsexual model of communication, they illustrate two-way communication where the message gets more complex as the communication even progresses. They include a parallel transsexual model of communication, then Daniel helical communication models, then Aristotle model of communication. The following process when we are communicate the public, the speaker, speech, occasion, target audience, and the effect. The Aristotle model of communication example: a teacher giving a lecture to the students in the classroom is a best example of Aristotle model of communication. The scenario: the teacher acts the sender as a message. Teacher is a sender. The delivering the information, the message, it means content to the students. The student is a receivers. The student receive the message, they process it, and potentially provide the feedback or ask the question to complete the communication cycle. This is the alliance with the Aristotle model of communications, which involve the sender transmitting or message to the receiver through the channel. Channel means medium, with the feedback playing the role in the ensuring the effective communication. The Aristotle model of communication diagram: speaker, speech, occasion, audience, and effect. The next one is Laswell model of communication. The Laswell model of communication views the communication as a transmission of the message with the effector as the result. So what are the main elements of Laswell model of communications? Laswell model of communication to the answer the following 5 questions regarding its element. Who create a message? Then what did they say? Then what channel did it mean, TV or radio or print medium? Then to whom did they say? What effect did the receivers? Then the next one is the Shannon and Weaver model of communication. The Shannon and Weaver model of communication therefore is the mathematical communication model. The concept that proposed that the communication as it linear. The one-way process can broken into the 5 key points. The elements of the Shannon and Weaver model of communication: sender, encoder, channel, decoder, and receiver. The example of Shannon and Weaver model of communication. So Paula, a VP of marketing in the multinational company, is the prepping Julian a new marketing strategy as about the introduce the next month. She want the detailed study of the competitor activity by end of this week. Unfortunately, why she was speaking her assistant Peter interpreted her and she forgot to tell the Julian about the most important issue. At the end of the week, Julian did not finish the report, but there was some mistakes which had to be corrected later on. Let us take the moment to brief analysis the examples. Pula is the sender. It means who sent the message. So Pula sent the message. That is Pula is a sender. Her mouth being an encoder. What they use to tell that mouth, it is an encoder. The meeting she held was channel. It means medium. How the Pula was tell the concept. That is a channel. Then the Julian ears and the brain were decoders. And Julian was the receiver who received the message. Pula sent the message. He is a sender. He is a source of communications. Then Julian is a received the message. While Pula sent the message, he received the message from the Julian. He is a receiver. Can you guess Peter role? Peter is a noise. The next, David Perlow SMCR model. So what are the main elements of David Perlow SMCR models? S means source, then M means message, then C means channel, then R means receiver. So David Perlow SMCR models examples. Watching the news or television channel is a perfect example of SMCR model. In this case, the news presenter is the source of the news and they convey the message to the audience. Message means content. What the sender send the message to the receivers. It's a content is a message. The news is the message. The television is a channel, and the audience are the receivers of the message. The next, interactive model of communications. So, what is the interactive model of communications? A most dynamic models. Interactive communication models refer to the two-way communication. It means with the feedback. However, the feedback with the interactive communications models is simulates, but rather the slow and indirect. The Osgood-Sharam model of communication. The Osgood and Sharam model of communication possess four main principles of communications. Communication is a circular. Communication is a equal and reciprocal. The message requires the interpretation are shown as the Osgood, Sharam and communication models. The Osgood model of communication examples. Imagine you have not heard from your college friend for 15 years. Suddenly they call you and you sort of updating each other about what happened during the time you have not sent each other. In this example, you and your friend are equally encoding and decoding the message, and your communication is you are both interpreting each other message. The Wesley and the McLean models. The Wesley and McLean models suggest that the communication process does not start with the source or sender, but with the environmental factors. This model also takes the account the object of orientation, background, culture or beliefs of the sender and the receiver of the message. The very process of communication, according to this communication models, start with the environmental factors that influence the speaker. The cultural or society speaker lives in, the whether the speaker is on the public or private space, etc. Wesley and McLean model of communication examples. Imagine that your way of office, you are witness to road accident. You are witness to the road accident. This is a type of simulate the wood nudge. You call your friends and tell them about what you had seen, or call your boss to say are going to be a bit late. Then transactional model of communication. The transactional model of communication, most dynamic communication models which first introduce a new term, sender and receiver. The parallel transactional model of communication, The parallel transactional model of communication diagram below illustrate the following main components of these communication models: encoding, decoding, communicators, the message. It means including the cues, environment and noise, the channel. Example of parallel model of communication include the face-to-face interaction and chat sessions, telephone conversations and meeting, etc. Then trans-helical model of communications. The trans-helical model of communication views of communication as a circular process that gets more and more complex of communication progress. That is why represented by the helical spiral in the trans-helical model of communication diagram below. The model of the trans-helical model of communication example, Trans himself explained in the model with the example of the person learning throughout their life. The namely, a person start to communicate with their surrounding very early on, using the methods of communications. For instance, bodies, we crave to get our mother's attention. Later on, we learn to speak in words and them to full sentence. So then, trans-helical model of communication example below. During the while process, we build on what we know to improve our communication. Every communication act is therefore a chance for the learn to how to communicate more effectively in the future and feedback feedback helps us achieve more effective communication. So linear model of communication mainly used to the marketing, sales and public relations. In the communication with customer, this models views the communication as a one-way process. Already I told you, the linear model is a one-way process communication. Then interactive models used the internet-based mediated communications. They refer to the two-way communication with the interactive feedback. Then the transactional models, the most complex model of communications which best reflect of the communication process. So thank you. Hope you all are understand the models of communications. Let us see next classes.